favorite in particular that I've just loved this year is music. Like, as a whole, I've been listening to a lot more music in 2013 than I did any other year. Mostly because I've found a lot of people that I've liked on YouTube. And so some of my favorite albums that I've bought this year, which are quite a lot, include, I've got a list here. So, In Your Atmosphere by Alex Good, Panem's Best, which is an album about the Hunger Games by Luke Konnard and Joey Graceffa and Megan Camarena. And it's about the Hunger Games. Some of the songs are really sad. My favorite is probably The Reaping, even though that's the saddest one. But I really like the Hunger Games, and I really like them as YouTubers. So I really love the album. And this is not even YouTube at all. Like, I mostly listen to YouTubers, but I've also been quite into Big Time Rush. Like, I've always been into Big Time Rush, and they came out with a new album this year, and it's called 24/7. I love that. And then Summer Love by Luke Konnard. That might be like my favorite album out of this set, but I can't really decide. But it's incredible, and my favorite songs from that is probably Still Evolving and Like Yesterday. Awesome album. And then Make It Up by Sam Shui. And I sing the song from it, Shadow, a lot. So that's become like my signature song. So, and my favorite songs from it are probably Shadow, of course, Story, and Don't Want an Ending. And I didn't realize that Don't Want an Ending was a different, like, it was an original song before the album. So they include an acoustic version on the album. I didn't even realize there was a non-acoustic version, and I bought that too. So I can't decide which one I like better. And another album I've definitely been loving is Honestly by Tyler Ward. And I didn't really know Tyler Ward much. Like, I never bought any of his songs. Then I bought the album. At first I didn't like it at all. I'm like, what on earth did I buy? And then I'm like, I love it. So yeah, because it's a bit different to what I usually buy, but I love it. And that brings me to my next category, my favorite people, aka my favorite YouTubers for this entire year. And first of all, probably my favorite one has to be Charles Trippy, aka CTFXC. Charles and Allie, this last year, in 2013, they've gone through so much. Like, Charles had started having seizures, and then he found out he had a brain tumor, and then he had surgery to remove the brain tumor, and then he had a second brain surgery in September of 2013, and he filmed it. And that's the first I heard of him, because Joey Graceffa mentioned him in a vlog, and I'm just like, I filmed his brain surgery, so I had to watch him. And then I'm just like, I kept going back, and then I realized that he's filmed a vlog every single day for like so long, and he has a world record, and he's just incredible. If you haven't seen them already, you need to. And I have 3 other favorites, and they're Joey Graceffa, Tyler Oakley, and Marcus Butler. And Tyler Oakley and Marcus Butler, I've seen all their videos that are currently live right now on their channel that aren't private. So that's pretty much why they have to be there. And they're really funny, and I love them. And I'm still working on watching all of Joey's videos. Okay, so my next category is apps and video games. So on the video games category, I've had this last year, like towards the end, in like November and December, I really got into like video games again. And I do that, like I go through phases with video games. Like, I play and play and play until I just can't anymore, until I get frustrated with whatever game I'm addicted to, and then I just stop. And then I get back into it again, and I'm in one of those moods right now where I just want to play a bunch of video games and do nothing else. So these are the video games that I've been loving. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. This, I've already played through it once and finished it. What a lot of people don't realize is this actually has a story mode, and the game itself is really good, and the story mode's like hidden. nobody ever seems to advertise the story mode, but it's just incredible. It has great cutscenes, but incredible game, and I'm now playing through it again. So yeah, it has great multiplayer mode too. I always play it with my brother. And so the last game was for Wii, but I've just, as an overall favorite, I've just been loving my 3DS. Like, the games on it are just incredible. I don't really think the 3D is that good. Like, it is 3D, and it's like, you can see that it's 3D, and it's 3D without glasses, and that's cool. But I think kind of like, it's kind of irritating to like fix it because you need to stand in this particular position to see the 3D, and otherwise it just comes out blurry. So I don't really like the 3D on it, but the games are just incredible. And the games that I've been loving are Mario Kart 7, which I got for Christmas. I've been loving it. It's incredible. And so I've definitely been loving Kid Icarus. I've also been loving Zelda, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time for 3DS. And that game, it's the first Zelda game I've ever played, and it's just incredible. Like, wow. I'm using the walkthrough. Like, I'm not actually technically really playing it, but it's still fun. Because I don't know why I find it fun to use the walkthrough. Maybe that's cheating. It's probably cheating, but I like it. So the next 3 video games that I have are actually apps, and but the first one is just like probably might be my favorite video game like ever, if you consider iPod games video games, which I think I do. Plague Inc. It's just incredible. It's, first of all, you get to kill humanity, which I, for some reason, find incredibly entertaining. And it's like, it's incredible. I beat all the normal levels on like normal mode, and I even have the zombie one and the mind control one. I bought those, and I beat those. I beat every single level on brutal difficulty. And then they came out with these like scenarios and speed runs, so I have a lot to get through in the game, and I'm so happy. It makes me happy. And I bought all the scenarios too. And other 2 apps, My Muppets and High School Story, they're just addicting. My Muppets is like a spin-off of My Singing Monsters. I don't like My Singing Monsters, but I like the Muppets, and I don't know, it's kind of fun. So my next category is books, and I love books. I love reading, and so these are some of my favorite books that I read in 2013. Okay, so the first one is, pretty much everyone has read this series, and pretty much no one likes it. Like, nobody really likes the last 2 books, and I'm talking about the series as a whole. I'm talking about the Inheritance Cycle, and this is only the first book, Eragon, because we only own Eragon and Eldest, so this is just like a visual for you if you didn't really get it. Eragon. And I recently rediscovered it in 2013 because I read Eldest and I found it immensely boring. I read Eragon, I loved it, but I actually listened to Eragon. I listened to the audiobook of Eragon, and I loved it. And Eldest have the audiobook of it. Like, it wasn't on YouTube. It got taken down for copyright or something, and I couldn't listen to it. But I found the Eldest at the library, the audiobook, and so I listened to it, and it was really good. And then I found all of the audiobooks. I listened to all of them, and I loved it. Just incredible. And most people don't like the way it ended. I thought it was great because there was like a lot of hinting towards it in like first couple books, and then it was great. And I'll do a book review on all these if you guys want, so I'll just down below comment, and if any want me to do reviews on anything here, I'll gladly do it. And the next one, if you have not heard of this by now, you're probably living under a hole, because this book is just, everyone's talking about was just incredible. It might be my favorite dystopian. Yeah, I do like it better than Hunger Games. Like, I don't know. There could be argument on that, but I like it better than Hunger Games. But what's kind of tying on it for best dystopian series, in my opinion, is Unwind. Like this book, this book, I love it. Again, I really want to do a book review on this series, but the last book didn't come out. I thought it was a trilogy. Turns out it's like a 4-book series. I don't know what that's called. But it's
quadrilogy.
And it's incredible. It's an incredible book, incredible story, and I love it. And this one I actually own the entire series too, which happens to be a whopping 2 books, I think. I hope another book will come out, but this is the Beneath the Glitter series, I think it's called. Don't really know what it's called. But it's a 2-book series by Ellen Blair Fowler, and they're YouTubers, and they're quite popular. And I usually read like fantasy, dystopian type books. Like, I either read fantasy or dystopian. So this is really different because it's like realistic fiction, and this is a really good book series too. Like, it's not incredible, but I found it really good. It was a light read compared to like all the other books I read, which are like everyone dies, but nobody dies in this. So very happy. Whenever I want like a really light read, I just keep on rereading these. Okay, so the next category is other. It's just everything I couldn't find a category for. And so one thing is, like, I've always had this like story idea in my mind, and so I recently started to write it. I don't think I'm that great of a writer, but I started to write it, and for one of the chapters, I kind of needed a visual on it, so I attempted to draw it. And so I wanted to know how the main character's armor would be, because it's like a fantasy series and there's like a war in it. So I tried to draw it. I'm not sure if you can see that. So, and by that, I found out that I'm not a terrible drawer at like things like this. So I drew, and I was really, in that one, I kept erasing the mouth because I wasn't happy with it. So in the end, the eraser drilled a hole in the page. That happened. So I found that I'm not that bad at drawing, and it's actually quite fun. So I've been drawing. So that's definitely a huge love, a huge favorite of 2013. And I'm pretty sure I started crocheting in 2012, but I've been loving it particularly in 2013. So I just brought 2 examples to show you. This guy is Johan, the Invisible Man, and I think he's cute. He has like this little tie and like his pants. I don't know, his pants came out a bit funny, but yeah, like it has to be like, the pants were meant to start like here, but I kept using white, so his pants are like only on his legs. So it's like he's wearing huge socks, but that's okay, because I think it's quite cute. And then I just wrapped like this bandage around his head, and he's like this little soft amigurumi guy, and he has like little wire glasses, and he's cute. And then there's this guy, and I got the pattern for both of these from the same book, and I forgot the book. It's a great book though. And so this guy, you're probably wondering to yourself, why is he only part hairy and part whatever that is?
He's a caveman.
He's a caveman, but he's actually not a caveman. He's meant to be Bigfoot. But well, I got lazy, and once I finished him, I do this a lot. I get bored of seeing the same project, so I kind of set him aside. And see, I have to attach each of these individual hairs on. Not only do I have to cut the yarn into the same size over and over again, but I have to attach them, and attaching them is very boring. So I stopped there. I will try. It's like, it should be a New Year's resolution for me to finish this guy, because it might take all year. And I did that, which I'm very proud of myself for. Like, I managed to fill up an entire leg of hair. So, yeah, and I don't know what's up with his really completely bare middle, but then like really weird chest hair. And then like he's completely bald pretty much at the back. So yeah, I need to work on that. So I've been really loving crocheting. So if you watched my first video, then you should get some idea of the fact that I love food. And so for like a food favorite, I wanted to include some food in there, but I couldn't bring my entire pantry upstairs. So I managed to come up with one food that I've just particularly been loving this year. And I'm pretty sure I only discovered it in 2013. It's this stuff, cookie butter. Cookie butter, this is from Trader Joe's, and it tastes like a Teddy Graham. Like, it tastes like a graham cracker. And it's like peanut butter, but it tastes like cookies. Like, I love it. And this year I got this iPod, and I've had an iPod for a while, but this is the iPod 5, and before I had an iPod 3, so that one didn't have a camera, and I used to have a camera before, like an actual like camera, this little Canon PowerShot, and the lens got broken, and it like stopped working one day, and I didn't even drop it. So yeah, that happened. But this of course has a camera on it, and I've been loving the camera because I love photography. So I've been taking pictures of everything, and mostly food. I take pictures of mostly food, and my best pictures are also food. So, and I've been loving editing all the pictures. So I've been loving like taking pictures on my iPod. And one last thing, if you stayed for this long, I don't even know how long the video is, but it's probably long. Puzzles. I've been loving jigsaw puzzles, which I've always loved jigsaw puzzles. But this year, during summer break, not this year, last year, I keep saying this year. During summer break, I'd finally decided that I would just try out my oldest puzzle, which happens to be my biggest puzzle at 2,000 pieces. And that might be not that much for a lot of people, but it took me, I attempted to do that like a bunch of times before, and I finally finished it. So I was very happy about that, and I finished it in like a month, and then I kept on doing puzzles. So yeah, I've just been doing puzzles for like the entire year. I managed to do every single puzzle I own, which is not a small amount, in only like 3 months, so I'm very happy about that. That's like the highlight of my year. Congratulations if you made it through this entire video, because I'm sure it's going to be huge and a pain to edit. So if you haven't got enough of me in this immensely long video, you can also follow me on a whole bunch of social media sites. And as I said before, I only use Instagram and Pinterest. That's it. But you know what you can do to just help me out a lot? You can push the thumbs up button, because you all know what happens if you don't push the thumbs up button. Yep, neither do I, but push it anyways. Well, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye. And I sing the sang. Don't want an ending. What's the other one called? A story, yeah. And my favorites from the Make It Up album are probably Shadow, of course, and then Don't Want an Ending, and Yesterday. And my favorite songs from the Make It Up album are probably, I keep wanting to say Like Yesterday. And then the newest album I bought was Somewhere Somehow by We the Kings, and they're not consistent. And then I have 4 other YouTuber favorites that I couldn't decide on, which are Tyler Oakley, Joey Graceffa, and Marcus Butler. That was not 4. And this is not a video game, but it's a game. It's not really a game, but I should put this in other.
Oh, thanks, Jake.
Oops. Mostly food. I take pictures of mostly food. And my best pictures are also food, so. I guess, you know, they say that. I don't know if they say this or I'm just pretending they say this, but, like, what you do best usually, like no, I don't even think anyone says that. I'm just gonna skip that part.